So the biggest issue facing enterprise data centers now is that nobody is thinking about the whole system. Nobody's thinking about the big picture. Nobody's thinking about the total costs of owning and operating these facilities. And that manifests in management failures. So the management failure of having separate departments for facilities and IT, separate responsibilities, separate budgets, so that the IT folks who buy the computing equipment don't pay the electricity bill. The facilities people pay it. And so the IT folks don't care about efficiency at all because it doesn't affect them. Perfectly rational, but it's a management failure. And so I think the biggest problem facing data centers is that without one boss and one budget and a focus on the whole system, we're not going to get the right outcome. We're not going to get more computing. We're not going to get more efficient computing. We're not going to get lower costs. Most senior managers think of data centers as a cost center. It's a cost that they simply have to pay to have a modern corporation. The problem is that that point of view, that framing of the issue, leads them to forget about the other part of the equation. So profits equals revenues minus costs. And the right structure for IT, the right management structure for IT can lead to higher profits, higher revenues, and lower costs. So if you think about just the cost side of the equation, you're missing the boat. If you can design your IT system, and not just the data center, but also all the people and institutional structure around that to increase agility and increase the rapidity with which your business units can create new businesses using IT, then you will have an inherent advantage. It won't just be lower costs, it'll be higher revenues and higher profits. So the most important role for senior management is to create the right incentives. First, to create one organization that reports up to one senior manager for the data center, and to have one budget, and to have people in the organization who are able to map the costs, the total costs of taking actions in the data center onto business processes. What that means is that if someone proposes a new line of business, the people in the data center organization can say, it will cost this much to do that, and it will allow us to generate these revenues. And if you can create that infrastructure, it allows you then to decide, using real data and evidence, what the right course of action is. If you just have one piece of the picture, the costs or the revenue side, you're not going to be able to make that decision. So they need to focus on the whole system. They need to have the big picture on total costs. They need to have mapped those costs and benefits onto business processes. And then, and only then, can the companies make sensible decisions around the data center. So people who focus just on the sustainability side of data centers, I think, miss an important part of the equation. If we fix the management problems that lead to inefficiency, then we'll actually create not just a less costly and more profitable data center, but also a more sustainable one. So the focus on sustainability, I think, for data centers is somewhat misguided. We should be focusing on these management problems. If we can fix these management problems, then the efficiency issues, the agility issues, the sustainability issues will all naturally be solved. But we need to fix those management problems. If we do that, then I think we're on the road to higher efficiency, higher business agility, higher profits, and better sustainability. So the most important barriers relate to the lack of a focus on the total system, the total costs. And those manifest in institutional structure, so you have separate budgets for IT and facilities. They manifest in not even calculating the costs of proposed changes in the enterprise IT infrastructure. And those barriers lead then to a very inefficient system that gets in the way of the business being more successful. And so if you focus on the success of the whole business, if you focus on the profit side of things, you measure the total costs, you align the incentives and the responsibilities, then you will end up with the right outcome for the firm. So my main focus now and for the next couple of years is on solving this management problem. So communicating to higher level management the importance of them changing the way they organize enterprise IT. And if they can change the management structure, change the incentives, that will allow their company to do better, not just in terms of cost, but also in terms of business agility and higher revenues. Because now every company is really an IT company. And if you are delivering enterprise IT in a 20th century way, you will be roadkill.